2,857 career points. Wayne Gretzky didn't just break records, he built walls around them that nobody was supposed to climb. The next closest player, Jaromir Jagr, sits at 1,921 points. That gap isn't just big, it's bigger than most Hall of Fame careers combined. If Jagr played 5 more full seasons at his absolute peak, he still wouldn't catch Gretzky. But here's the thing, somebody just did the impossible and broke one of Gretzky's untouchable records. 894 goals. For 25 years, that number sat at the top of hockey like it was carved in stone. Then Alex Ovechkin kept scoring and kept scoring. And on April 6, 2025, against the Islanders, he buried number 895 on a power play. Gretzky himself was there watching his last unbreakable record fall. The crazy part is, Ovechkin did it in an era where goalies are bigger, systems are tighter, and every team has video scouts breaking down your every move. He reached at least 895 as of April 6, 2025, and is still going. Let's back up though, because Gretzky spent his whole career destroying records people said would last forever. Take Gordie Howe's career marks. Howe had 1,850 points and 801 goals, numbers that stood like mountains for decades. On October 15, 1989, Gretzky passed the points record in overtime against Edmonton, his old team, with Howe watching from the stands. Then, on March 23, 1994, goal number 802 against Vancouver made him the all-time goal leader too. Howe was there for that one as well, passing the torch in person. Phil Esposito's 76 goals in a single season was supposed to be the ceiling. Nobody scores 76 goals in one year, that's insane. In 1981 to 82, Gretzky scored 92. Not 77, not 80, but 92 goals in a single season. That record still stands over 40 years later, and honestly, it might stand forever. The context here is everything. Esposito set his record in 1970 to 71 when the league was expanding and scoring was up. Everyone thought that number would never fall. Gretzky didn't just inch past it, he added 16 more goals to it. In today's NHL, the best scorers might hit 60 goals in an amazing year. Austin Matthews scored 60 in 2021 to 2022, then hit 69 goals in 2023 to 2024, becoming the first player to reach 69 since Mario Lemieux in 1995 to 96. Even that incredible feat is still 23 goals short of Gretzky's record. Speaking of assists, Bobby Orr revolutionized what a defenseman could do when he got 102 assists in 1970 to 71. Gretzky looked at that number and decided to get 163 assists in 1985 to 86. He owns the top assist seasons ever, and here's the wild part. His career assists alone, just the assists at 1,963, would rank him second all-time in total points. Think about that for a second. If Gretzky never scored a single goal, he'd still be number 2 all-time in points. But the most ridiculous thing Gretzky did was the 50 goals in 39 games. Maurice Richard's 50 in 50 was hockey's 4-minute mile for 36 years. Mike Bossy finally matched it in 1981, which was huge news. Then Gretzky scored 50 in 39 games that same season. He hit the mark on December 30th, 1981, with 5 goals against the Flyers. Nobody's come close to that pace since. To put this in perspective, most 50 goal scorers today need the full 82 games to get there. Gretzky needed less than half a season. Now let's talk about the goalie records that were supposed to be permanent. Patrick Roy had 551 career wins, and everybody knew that was safe because modern goalies don't play enough games. Martin Brodeur didn't just pass it, he obliterated it. On March 17, 2009, Brodeur got win 552, then kept going all the way to 691 total wins. That's 140 more wins than Roy. In today's NHL, where teams use 2 or 3 goalies regularly, 691 wins might as well be on the moon. Consider this, most starting goalies today play 50 to 60 games a season. Brodeur logged 12 seasons with 70 or more games. He played in an era that allowed him to accumulate these numbers, but he also had the durability and consistency to take advantage of it. Terry Sawchuk's 103 shutouts stood as the gold standard for decades. Brodeur passed that in December 2009 and finished with 125 shutouts. These weren't lucky bounces either. Brodeur played 1,266 games, won 691 of them, and posted 125 shutouts. Those numbers don't even look real when you write them down. The thing about Brodeur is he combined old-school durability with modern athletic training. He played like a 1960s goalie in terms of games played, but with 2000s preparation and conditioning. Here's one that just happened recently. Gordie Howe played 1,767 games, a record that seemed untouchable because it meant playing at the highest level for over 25 years. Patrick Marleau, at age 41, played game number 1,768 on April 19, 2021, breaking Howe's record. He finished with 1,779 games. The fact that someone could stay healthy and productive enough to play that many NHL games in the modern era is mind-blowing. Marleau wasn't just hanging around either. He was contributing, playing real minutes, killing penalties. This wasn't a victory lap. It was a testament to modern sports science and his incredible dedication to fitness. The Ironman streak is another category where unbreakable records kept falling. Doug Jarvis played 964 consecutive games from 1975 to 1987. For 35 years, nobody came close. Then Keith Yandle played his 965th straight game on January 25, 2022, pushing the record to 989 games before he was finally scratched. The Philadelphia Flyers made the decision to scratch him, ending his streak just shy of 1,000 games. It was controversial because Yandle wanted to keep going, but the team had other plans. But get this, Phil Kessel broke Yandle's record less than a year later. On October 25, 2022, Kessel played game 990 in a row to become the new Iron Man. He became the first player to hit 1,000 consecutive games and pushed the record all the way to 1,064. In an era where teams rest players constantly and talk about load management, Kessel played every single night for over a decade. The secret to Kessel's durability wasn't that he avoided contact or played soft. He just had this unique ability to avoid the kinds of injuries that knock players out of lineups. No pulled muscles, no nagging injuries that needed rest. He just kept showing up. Going back to that Maurice Richard 50-50 record, it stood completely alone from 1945 to 1981. That's 36 years where nobody could match it. Mike Bossy finally did it on January 24, 1981, scoring 2 late goals against Quebec to join Richard in the 50-50 club. After 36 years of nobody matching Richard, Bossy proved it could be done. Then Gretzky destroyed the whole concept months later. Let's talk about defensemen for a minute. Bobby Orr's 46 goals by a defenseman in 1974-75 was supposed to be the absolute limit. Paul Coffey scored 48 in 1985-86 for Edmonton. He was the perfect defenseman for that Oilers system, basically a fourth forward who could skate backwards. That record of 48 goals by a defenseman still stands today and probably will forever given how the game has changed. Modern defensemen are asked to play defense first. Even the most offensive defenseman today might score 20 to 25 goals in a great year. Coffey's 48 is untouchable in today's structured defensive systems. Coffey also broke Dennis Potvin's career records for defenseman assists and points. But then, Ray Bourque came along and passed Coffey. On October 25, 2000, playing for Colorado, Bourque became the highest-scoring defenseman ever. He finished with 1,579 points and 410 goals from the blue line. 20 years later, those numbers still look impossible. To understand how insane Bourque's consistency was, he had well over a dozen seasons with 60 or more points. Most defensemen today are happy with 1 or 2 seasons at that level. Remember Mike Bossy's 53 rookie goals from 1977 to 78? That was the rookie record everyone knew would never fall. In 1992 to 93, Teemu Selanne didn't just break it, he demolished it with 76 goals as a rookie. He scored 23 more goals than the previous record. That's not breaking a record, that's rewriting what's possible for a first-year player. Selanne came over from Finland and immediately became one of the best goal scorers in the league. His celebration where he threw his glove in the air and shot it down like a duck became iconic. That record of 76 rookie goals will probably never be broken. Matthews scored 40 as a rookie, and everyone lost their minds. Selanne scored almost double that. Chris Chelios played 1,651 games as a defenseman, which seemed like it would stand forever, given how physical the position is. Zdeno Chara passed him in February 2022 and finished with 1,680 games, the most ever by a defenseman. Chara was 44 years old in his final season, still playing NHL hockey at an age when most guys have been retired for a decade. At 6'9", Chara was also the tallest player in NHL history, and somehow his body held up longer than players a foot shorter. Here's a weird one that shows how records can fall out of nowhere. The record for consecutive games with a goal by a defenseman was 7, set back in 1984. Mike Green of the Capitals scored in 8 straight games in 2009. He just kept lighting the lamp night after night from the blue line until he owned a record nobody even thought about breaking. Green was playing in an offensive system that let him join the rush constantly. He was basically a fourth forward who happened to line up on defense. Let's talk about Ovechkin some more because he didn't just break Gretzky's goal record. Dave Andreychuk had 274 career power play goals, which seems safe. Ovechkin has destroyed that mark and is still adding to it. He also owns the record for most 40-goal seasons and the NHL record for most 30-goal seasons. Mike Gartner's old record doesn't even come close. The consistency needed to score 30 goals that many times is staggering. Most players have maybe 3 or 4 30-goal seasons in their entire career. Let's dive into some other insane records that got broken when nobody thought they would. Joe Malone scored 7 goals in a single game back in 1920. While nobody's broken that one, the fact that Darryl Sittler got to 6 goals in a game in 1976 shows that even the most ancient records can be threatened. Sittler's 10-point night against Boston included those 6 goals and 4 assists. The Bruins goalie that night, Dave Reese, never played another NHL game after that demolition. Bill Mosienko's 21-second natural hat trick from 1952 is still the fastest ever. But the fact that other players have gotten close shows nothing is truly safe. John Beliveau scored a hat trick in 44 seconds in 1955. The speed of these achievements seems impossible when you consider players need to win 3 separate face-offs and score 3 times in less than a minute. By the way, if you're loving these insane hockey records, hit that subscribe button right now because we're about to get into the records that actually might never be broken. Glenn Hall's 502 consecutive complete games in net is from another universe. From 1955 to 1962, Hall played every minute of every game for 7 straight seasons. No backup, no rest, and get this, he threw up before every game from nerves and still never missed a start. Today's goalies play maybe 60 games if they're workhorses. The closest anyone's come to Hall's record is Alec Connell with 257 consecutive complete games. That's not even close to 502. Hall did this without a mask for most of it. Pucks to the face were just part of the job. He'd get stitched up between periods and keep playing. In one game, he took a puck to the mouth, lost several teeth, and finished the game. That's a different kind of human being. Tiger Williams holds the all-time penalty minutes record with 3,971. In today's NHL, where fighting is down and suspensions are common for dirty play, nobody's catching that number. Williams averaged over 4 penalty minutes per game for his career. Today's tough guys might average 1 or 2. The game has changed so much that this record is basically frozen in time. Chris Simon, one of the last true enforcers, finished with 1,824 penalty minutes, not even half of Williams' total. Dave Schultz's single-season penalty minute record of 472 in 1974-75 is equally untouchable. That's almost 6 penalty minutes per game. He spent nearly 8 hours in the penalty box that season. In today's NHL, the league leader in penalty minutes might have 150. The game was different back then, but even for that era, Schultz's number was insane. Darryl Sittler's 10-point game on February 7, 1976, still stands alone. 6 goals and 4 assists in one game against the Bruins. In the modern NHL, with its defensive systems and structured play, getting 10 points in a game is basically impossible. Players barely get 10 points in a month sometimes. The closest anyone's come in the modern era is 8 points, done by Sam Gagner in 2012 and a few others. But at 10 points, that's a record that might stand forever. The crazy thing about Gretzky's records is how many he still owns. His 51 game point streak from 1983 to 84 hasn't been touched. He scored at least 1 point in 51 straight games. Since 1992 to 93, the longest point streak is 26 games, set by Patrick Kane in 2015 to 16. His 1,963 career assists means he has 700 more assists than anybody else in history. McDavid got 100 assists in 2023-24 and everyone freaked out. Gretzky had multiple seasons with over 100 assists, including years with 109, 120, 125, 135, and that insane 163 assist season. Here's something wild about Gretzky's 2,857 points. Connor McDavid, who's probably the best player in the world right now, would need to maintain his current pace for about 15 more seasons to catch Gretzky. McDavid is 27 years old. He'd have to play at an elite level until he's 42, and that's assuming he never gets injured and never has a down year. The math just doesn't work for anyone to catch 2,857 points. Looking at all these broken records, you notice patterns. The player who breaks an unbreakable record usually has three things going for them. First, they have a unique talent that separates them from everyone else. Gretzky's vision, Ovechkin's shot, Brodeur's positioning. Second, they play in the right system at the right time. The 1980s Oilers for Gretzky and Coffey, the Devil's Trap system that helped Brodeur pile up wins. Third, they have insane durability. You can't break career records if you're always injured. The thing about unbreakable records is we keep being wrong about them. Everyone said Gretzky's goals would never fall, but Ovechkin proved otherwise. Jarvis's Ironman streak stood for 35 years, then got broken twice in 1 year. Waz wins and Sawchuk's shutouts were supposed to be untouchable, but Brodeur made them look ordinary. Some records, though, they really might be unbreakable. Gretzky's 2,857 points sits 936 points ahead of second place. That's like adding an entire Hall of Fame career to an already Hall of Fame career. His 92 goals in a season came when scoring was at its peak. Today's best goal scorers hit 60 on a great year. His 50 goals in 39 games happened at a pace that doesn't exist anymore. What makes hockey records special is how they capture different eras of the game. Richard's 50 and 50 defined the original six era. Orr's defenseman scoring showed what was possible in the expansion era. Gretzky's numbers came from the wide-open 1980s. Brodeur's wins happened in the trap era. Ovechkin's goals came in the analytics age. Each record tells the story of when it happened and what hockey looked like at that moment. The wild part is somebody watching this video might see the next unbreakable record fall. Maybe Connor McDavid somehow gets to 2,000 points. Maybe Austin Matthews scores 80 goals in a season. Maybe some rookie we've never heard of comes in and drops 80 goals like Solani did. That's what makes these records so fascinating. We say they'll never be broken, then somebody comes along and does it anyway. These players didn't just break records, they changed how we think about what's possible in hockey. When Bossy matched Richard's 50 and 50, it opened the door for Gretzky to shatter it. When Brodeur passed Waz wins, it reset our understanding of goalie longevity. When Ovechkin passed Gretzky's goals, it proved that even the most sacred numbers can fall if the right player comes along at the right time with the right mindset. The records that got broken weren't just numbers, they were myths. They were the things old-timers would talk about in bars, swearing nobody would ever see anything like it again. Then somebody did see it again, and then somebody topped it. That's the beautiful thing about sports. Just when you think you've seen everything, somebody shows you something impossible. If you want more content breaking down the most insane moments in sports history, subscribe right now, because the next unbreakable record might fall tomorrow, and you'll want to know the story behind it.